How are we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be going over my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC 316, Dvalishvili vs. O'Malley 2 on June 7th, 2025. Timestamps in the comments below. Let's get right into it with the first fight of 13. We start with MarQuel Mederos versus Mark Choinski. I'm going to go with MarQuel Mederos on this one. Mark Choinski, listen, he's got some decent grappling chops. I'll give him that. He's got 5 submission wins under his 8-win career. But the people he's beating really throw me off. And, you know, he's 8-0, undefeated. But it's not like a lot there. You know what I mean? MarQuel Mederos has been in the UFC for, I think, 2 years now at this point. Maybe 1.5. He's just shown more to me in his UFC level comp he's faced. You know, he had a great contender series showing against Isakov. You know, kneed him in the face, suffered some early shit there, but powered through it and just kind of fucking walked that guy down, beat the shit out of him. And then, you know, landing Quillan, he goes to a hard-fought decision again, and then the same thing against Austin Hubbard, but those are UFC caliber people. You know what I mean? Like, Isakov is like 10-2 going into that fight. Landing Quillan, you know, he's fought some decent guys, went to a very gritty decision with Nasrat Haqparast. Austin Hubbard, he's always kind of a tough out. You know what I mean? He's always tough to beat. MarQuel Mederos, the only reason he'd lose to Mark Choinski is that his grappling hasn't improved as much as I thought it has since either the Quillan or Austin Hubbard fight. I think at this point, MarQuel Mederos is heavily improving his grappling. I hope he is, because that's really the only threat Mark Choinski has for him. His stand-up, he'll throw a dynamic thing every now and then, but he's a very standard kind of, you know, loaded up jabs, right straight, low kick, kind of. That's his ballpark, is those, and then he chains those into decent takedown attempts. It's short notice for Mark Choinski. It's not like MarQuel Mederos had to cut weight last week. He just kind of got moved to this card for some reason. So he's been in training camp for a far better opponent in Balaji, in my opinion. So I think that this is a step down for MarQuel Mederos. Mark Choinski, he can grapple. But, like, I just haven't seen him beat anyone that I think is good. So I'll go with MarQuel Mederos by decision, 30-27, but I think at the end of the fight, MarQuel Mederos might be able to rally up and maybe find a finish, but I'll go with decision for MarQuel Mederos. We move to Quillan Salkilld versus Yanal Ashmouz. I'll go with Quillan Salkilld. I think that he can definitely win. I think he should win. This is a step up for him, though, I will say. I think anyone can agree with that. Yanal Ashmouz is actually kind of underrated. I think the big discrepancy in this fight is going to be the physical aspect in this fight. Yanal Ashmouz, famously known for having short-ass arms. He's a smaller guy, very quick, calling him the Red Fox because he's a ginger fella and he's small but quick. And he does hit hard, but I think that when you factor in the fact that Yanal Ashmouz, you know, broke his arm against Chris Duncan, and Quillan Salkilld is a guy who will just blast kicks at you to keep you at deeper ranges and kind of just keep you at bay for certain numbers of time and not allow you to really get your game going. He's a very dangerous opponent for Yanal Ashmouz, a guy who needs to rush in on people. He needed to rush in on Sam Patterson. He needed to rush in on Chris Duncan before he broke his arm. He was utilizing his grappling a lot against Trevor Peek, which is something that could lead to some success in here. Quillan Salkilld is a taller, lankier guy, but he's got solid wrestling and takedown defense of his own. He actually out-grappled Gage Young in their Contender Series fight. I don't know if Yanal Ashmouz is going to be able to get past Quillan Salkild's range in this one. Maybe he does, but Quillan's a big fucking guy who throws a lot of kicks to the body, a lot of low kicks, front kick, teeps kicks to the body side kicks, and then he'll bring it upstairs, and that's a part of him that can be very dangerous, is the kicking and range game that he plays. And when you think that all that's coming back at you is those kicks and those jabs, he'll fucking throw a bomb of a right hand right over, and you don't know when it's coming. And Quillan does push people back, and Yanal Ashmouz is a guy who will retreat in moments. I think Quillan Salkilld is just overall a terrible physical matchup for Yanal Ashmouz in this lightweight division, and I think that he wins. I think he wins this, not easily, but I think that it should be like clear, consistent rounds for Quillan Salkilld. We move to Jeka Saragih versus JooSang. I'll go with JooSang on this one. This was the other guy that Dana White found on looking for a fight. He won by KO. He knocked out some like shorter fella, Matsuo Kawana or whatever his name is. I just think JooSang is way sharper in like every aspect of MMA besides maybe jiu-jitsu. Jeka Saragih, my issue with him is he is a very opportunistic, needed fighter. He needs an opportunity, like he needs like a mistake to happen for anything to happen in his favor. Like he needs to be fighting someone who is dumb to win. You look at his sole win in the UFC after getting fucking manhandled by fucking Pooflinger, what's his name? Anshul Jubli. And that's not, Pooflinger's not his name. That's not, you get the point. His sole win in the UFC being Lucas Alexander, a good kickboxer. Lucas gets up from a takedown and midway through turning around, Jeka just throws a bomb of a right hand and knocks him out. Like, he needs dumb shit to happen. Like a dude giving up in a clinch position that he can land a spinning back fist on. Like, he's literally just, like, looking at the clock like, I wonder how much is left in the round. Like, he needs to throw 3 right hands in a row against a guy backing up. And then, like, the guy just needs to drop his left hand to his tits and back up like this for him to win by KO. JooSang sets shit up. He's a very rangy guy, has longer extremities. Jeka Saragih's got a decent reach on him, to be fair. I think I have to be announced because I could never find like an exact number on Tapology or the UFC or even like film study for JooSang. But dude, this guy's a sniper, man, and he really capitalizes on people just waltzing into boxing range with a straight right hand and drops them bad. I think JooSang is too sharp for Jeka Saragih, and I think Jeka Saragih is dumb and stupid enough to get KO'd by JooSang very early in this fight. So I'll go JooSang, by first or second round TKO. Jeka's just too dumb. He's too stupid. We move to Ariane de Silva versus Wang Cong, or Wang Tong, however you want to fucking pronounce it. I'm gonna go with Wang Cong on this one. I always forget if it's, I think it's supposed to be pronounced Wang Tong. It doesn't sound as funny though. This can turn into a tricky fight for Wang because Ariane de Silva is a weird fighter where some fights she looks really on point. Like, case in point, hold up. Case in point, her Casey O'Neill performance. She looked fucking good against Casey O'Neill. She looked really fucking good. But then she'll have fights like the one she had against Karine Silva and Jasmine Jasudavicius. And you're like, well, it kind of falls off a cliff. Wang Cong is a good enough striker to strike with Ariane de Silva, which is where she is at her best. But Wang Cong actually did show some grappling prowess against Bruna Brazil, another kind of striker first lady, and who I think personally is a bit more dangerous than Ariane de Silva, just with like the danger factor that she possesses with like head kicks and bullshit like that. I think Wang Cong could just slightly outdo Ariane de Silva. Maybe stink it up in the clinch in moments, maybe shoot a couple takedowns here and there. Wang Cong looks pretty well-rounded for a relatively new MMA fighter. She was kickboxing for a while. She shipped over maybe I think 2 or 3 years ago or whatever. But yeah, her striking can very much outlast Ariane de Silva's. And besides the Gabriela Fernandez finish, dude, she looks pretty fucking good. Knocks out Victoria Leonardo in the first minute. That is that girl's name, right? I didn't forget what her name is. Yeah, it is Victoria Leonardo. She's kind of chinny, though. The Gabby performance, she was winning literally, 8 minutes and 45 seconds, or 8 minutes and 35 seconds of that fight, up until the head kick that she kind of ran into, and then the subsequent follow-up shots. Ariane de Silva is they're both kind of bread and butter type strikers. I just think Wang Cong is just better in the striking department, and Ariane de Silva isn't the strongest grappler there is. She's got some submission prowess. I know she subbed Casey O'Neill. She got 4 submission wins out of 17. But she's very much I'm going to be in your face a little bit, kind of. That's her fight style first. Her grappling's actually her, defensive grappling's her weakest point. She's been laid out before. 3 of her 4 or 3 of her 7 losses in the UFC are by TKO. She got knocked out very quickly by Priscilla Cachoeira, and then Montana De La Rosa and Antonina Shevchenko kind of just, rallied on her. Yeah, I think Wang Cong is just good enough to beat Ariane de Silva and get a ranking spot. I don't think that there's a high... Maybe she can, land something big that can wobble Wang Cong, but I think Wang Cong is just too precise, too good on the feet for Ariane de Silva. So I'll go Wang Cong, unanimous decision. I'll go 30-27. We move to Khaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. You know me. I'm a Khaos Williams diehard, bro. I'm picking Khaos Williams. This is actually a fight I think he can win. When he fought Gabriel Bonfim, I was like, there's a slight chance that he can win by knockout, so I'll just pick him. I think there's a high chance that he will knock out Andreas Gustafsson. Based simply off the fact that Andreas really doesn't work well at range. He is a in-your-face style fighter. He needs to do that to win. You look at a lot of her performances, he'll throw a jab out there, but it's very wrestly and robotic, where it kind of lunges with it instead of staying on the tip of your toes. Bah, bah. He's not bapping, he's fucking wooing, you know what I mean? He has to lunge in deep, and so does Khaos, to be fair. But if Andreas is going to play that game where he's going to rush in on Khaos and kind of be in his face, that's the worst thing you can honestly do on Khaos Williams, unless you're grappling. If you're clinching, then it can maybe work, but you're also leaving yourself open to get hit, possibly. And that's a terrible thing to do against Khaos Williams. One, if you don't, you cannot like it, dude. Khaos has show-stopping power in his hands. He does just have insane punch power. He doesn't need to land flush. He doesn't need to land with a great punch either. He fucking knocked out Carlston Harris seemingly with the side of his hand. And Andreas is older. He's coming off back-to-back weeks of weight cuts. You know what I mean? He cut weight, made weight against Trevin Giles, and then Trevin pulled out. You know what I mean? So he cut all that weight, probably rehydrated a little bit, and then had to cut more weight again to fight Khaos this week. Khaos has been in fight camp for Uros Medic for, I'd say a month or 2 now. So he's been prepping. This is probably one of the quickest turnarounds Khaos has had in a fucking long time, let's be honest. I think the last time he made a turnaround this kick was in fucking the Reebok era. So, Andreas, he's a clinch-needed fighter. He doesn't do well at range. To beat Khaos, you need to kind of just stay on the outside with him. It's a wild thing because he has long arms, but if you get in the pocket with him, it gives him such a big shot of just knocking you the fuck out. Carlston Harris could have used his range. He was doing good at range, and then he just got into a slugfest for no fucking reason and got himself chinned. Dead ass, like that. And Andreas Gustafsson isn't that good enough of a wrestler for me to pick him to beat Khaos Williams with his grappling. Gabriel Bonfim is a stellar grappler. He's really fucking good. Khaos is able to stand up and almost chin Randy Brown. He almost chinned Randy Brown, dude. That's fucking nuts. I know Randy's got a chin issue a little bit, but Randy's fucking great on the feet. He's a really good striker. And he allowed Khaos in the pocket with him. Imagine what a guy like Andreas, who is a pocket worker, is going to let Khaos do. I think it's just bad news bears. I think Khaos gets a knockout. I think you factor in also the double weeks of weight cutting. I'm not a huge fan of it. So I'll go Khaos Williams, who was already preparing for a taller kind of fella in Uros Medic. So I'll go Khaos Williams by first round KO. We move to Serghei Spivac versus Waldo Cortes-Acosta. I'm going to go with Serghei Spivac on this one. One, it's short notice for Waldo Cortes-Acosta. As you know, I'm not the biggest fan of that. And two, I just really think this matchup is going to brew a lot of problems for Waldo Cortes-Acosta. You look at the guys Waldo has been beating as of recent and just in his UFC career. You know, you get Robelis de Spain, who we learned literally has zero grappling awareness at all. He knocked out Lucas Dresky, which... that's cool, to be fair. Like, that's cool. Actually, no, that's not. That's not cool. Lucas Bresky's fucking dog shit. He's terrible. Dresky's terrible. Andrei Arlovsky, that's a arguable fight. Like, that was fucking close. He just lost to Jared Vandera. Like, that was a just clear-cut robbery in his debut. He loses to Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I want to say that did Marcos wrestle him in that one? Did he? Or did he just outstrike the... What the fuck are these stats? Hold up. Let me pull up the real stats. There you go. He did wrestle him. Got a takedown almost every round. Dropped round 3, but round 2 and round 1, he just out-grapples him. I think Serghei Spivac, at this point in his career, has fought the best of the fucking best in this division. He just has. If you look at his resume, he actually has fought a lot of good guys. Now, he has lost to a lot of good guys as well. Tom Aspinall gone, Tybura in the first fight, and then just now, Jailton Almeida. Waldo Cortes-Acosta is just a slugger, man. That's really all he is. He's not going to be able to out-grapple Serghei Spivac. That's just not in his tool. That's not in his tool belt. Serghei has been improving his stand-up. He actually wobbled Tybura before Tybura took him down. And he landed some stuff on Gan, and he landed some stuff on Jailton. He's an improving fighter who just kind of makes mental errors where he kind of just like, this kind of sucks. Maybe Waldo can TKO him, because Serghei does have a weird mindset when it comes to getting hurt. He kind of just like keels over a little bit. I think Serghei takes him down. I think he takes down Waldo Cortes-Acosta. The people Waldo has been beating do not say Spivac written on them. It doesn't. I think Serghei beats all the people that Waldo has beaten. Probably in better fashion at that. I think Serghei is going to be able to get some takedowns on Waldo, press him back, not get into a slugfest with him like others do. Like Spann just kind of allowed himself, instead of using his arms, his physicality, he kind of just allowed himself to get into a slugfest with Waldo. Serghei's not really a slugger. He's a very patient, sets things up kind of guy. He's going to set shit up against Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Knows how to leg kick. That's one thing. Just throw a leg kick at Waldo, see what happens. It's beautiful. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to do when a leg kick is thrown at him. So, I think Serghei's a step above Waldo, just a little bit. I'll go Serghei Spivac. Probably, I think he can sub Waldo. I think he can get a submission on Waldo Cortes-Acosta. He's that good on the ground, like submission threat-wise. I think he can get it done. He held down Jailton and picked him up and slammed him. That's got to count for something, right? That's got to count for something. So I'll go Serghei Spivac. We move to Azamat Murzakanov versus Brendson Ribeiro. I'm going to go with Azamat Murzakanov by first round KO. Listen, this matchup may seem very easy for Azamat on, like, if you just know their UFC careers, it seems easy. Brendson Ribeiro has, like, the perfect frame, right, to beat Azamat. He doesn't have a physical trait that is needed, though. his chin. It's a weird thing that Brendson doesn't have, is his chin. I think he gets chinned pretty easily by Azamat. The first part of the fight, Brendon's going to be chucking the jab out there, leg kicking, kind of looking lean at light heavyweight. He's a very lean 205er, yeah. Just kind of tossing the stuff out, kind of just like thudding a little bit. Azamat's going to be moving his big blockhead. Brendon's not going to be prepared for the speed that Azamat has. Azamat is weirdly quick. Very weirdly, deceivingly fast with his hands. I think he chins Brendson Ribeiro with a right hook. Kind of slip under, throw over, maybe follow through with a left hook. Maybe it lands, maybe it doesn't, but Brendson kind of just like falls over, and then Azamat just kind of boo. Like, the people Azamat has beaten in his career, you look at his like actual resume that he has, he's beat the fuck out of some dudes. Like, he's beat the shit out of some guys. You look at the Alonzo Menafield performance, slowed down in that one, but beat the ever-living shit out of him. Dustin Jacoby, we just saw last weekend, Jacoby is fucking good, man. Azamat smoked him. I think he knocked him down every round. Like, Jacoby was outdoing him, and then a big punch would land. That's what I think is exactly is going to happen in this fight. Brenson's going to be slightly outdoing Azamat, kind of throwing out the long intangibles, and then Azamat's going to roll under, come over with a right hook, follow through. Brendon's going to be like, fuck, it's going to make like a wild noise, and they're going to upload it with no crowd, and it's going to be like, oh! And then like Brendon's going to be like, ugh! I think Azamat wins by KO fairly easily in this one. Brendson has the frame to do it. He doesn't have the chin. You know what I mean? So I'll go Azamat Murzakanov. Also short notice for Brendson. So yeah. We move to the featured prelim. Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. Ooh. I'm going to go with Joshua. But I'm going to be honest with you. I am very nervous about this fight for Josh. I think Joshua Van's a better striker than Bruno Silva. I think he's a better grappler than Bruno Silva. I think he's a better mixed martial artist than Bruno Silva. I'm very worried if Josh gets hit by something big by Bruno Silva and gets absolutely flatlined. Joshua Van's chin is one of the weirdest things at flyweight. He's already a smaller guy, but his chin, he got knocked out, of course, by Charles Johnson. That was the first time that we kind of, in the UFC at least, kind of saw it like, oh shit, he got chinned pretty bad by Charles Johnson. But then, he returned so shortly after, got hurt bad by Edgar Chairez. A couple times, got dropped in the first round, got caught with the spinning back fist in round 2. Cody Durden, I don't think Cody Durden, tagged him hard. I think he wobbled him in the first, I think is what it was. Ray Saruya, he pitched a shutout against because Ray Saruya doesn't know how to fight. I think Bruno Silva he's very fast and explosive, very powerful as well. I think Josh is a way better technical striker, has way better fundamentals, throws in combinations. And if Josh can hit that flow state earlier than I want him to, because Josh low-key kind of takes the first round, first 3 minutes off, and then kind of builds in after that, kind of, he Piotr Jan maxes a little bit, downloads data. He can have him an El Cop round 3, round 2 type of performance where he's dodging a lot of shit, maybe eating a jab here and there, but landing combinations at will, because that's something I've always loved about Joshua Van is the mixing of combinations and also not being just a headhunter. He attacks low, attacks the body, attacks the head, all in the same combination. It's fucking magnifico to watch in motion. But Bruno Silva's very dangerous. And he can definitely knock out Josh. But I think Josh will prevail. Maybe there'll be a moment where Bruno lands something, maybe at the end of a round, and Josh kind of stumbles backwards, and we're like, oh shit. And then Bruno Silva kind of throws away a finish like flyweights mostly do. I think Joshua Van will win a decision. I'll do 29-28 as my prediction just because I think there will be a moment where Bruno Silva has a lot of success, maybe drops Joshua Van, either early or like midway through round 2 or something like that. I think Joshua Van will win, though. I think he'll beat Bruno Silva just because he has better combinations, does more damage. He doesn't need one punch to do all his damage. Bruno Silva's a very, like, hefty puncher. And by the way, Bruno Silva was getting tuned up on the feet by Cody Durden for a while until Cody gassed out, which Joshua Van gassing out in the same sentence? Nada, dude. I'll go Joshua Van. We move to the start of the main card. Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. I have been weirded out by this matchup ever since it got announced. I'm gonna pick Kevin to beat Luque. And a lot of it has to deal with Luque not fitting the bill when it comes to people at welterweight that beat Kevin Holland. If you get what I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. Kevin Holland has always been a guy who, at middleweight, loses to bigger, stronger guys. That's always kind of been the thing. And the one fight at welterweight, well, it was a catchweight with Khamzat, but at welterweight, he only really loses to very fast individuals, guys who are going to be quicker than him. Luque doesn't fit that bill. Luque, for one, he's a one-and-done kind of guy, rarely throws in combinations, kind of just keeps it one at a time, kind of plotting in at range, throws a body kick, kind of waddles, throws a body kick, kind of waddles, lunges in with like a shovel uppercut, kind of just lunging in moments. I think Kevin's going to be able to land some big shots on Vicente. 1, he's got a huge fucking head. 2, he gets hit a lot. And 3, it's always been a question about whether or not Luque wants it enough after the Jeff Neal fight with the brain bleed. The RDA return performance was not the traditional Luque, a lot more grappling in that area. I think Kevin Holland's grappling at 170 is a whole lot fucking better than it is at 185. I think that's just like blatantly obvious just because he doesn't have a huge fucking guy on him. The Gunnar Nelson fight comes to fucking mind. And at 170, unless he's fighting, of course, MVP, unless he's fighting Jack Della fucking Maddalena, he wins. He wins almost every time. Barring that the people that he's beating aren't the greatest. They're mostly unks. But Vicente Luque has been in the UFC so long that even though he's only 33, he's kind of a fucking unk if you really think about it. I think Kevin's straight, long punches are going to work well against Luque. I think he's going to be able to do the bullshit that he does where he lunges in with the jab, throws a right palm afterwards, kind of softball hand. Luque can do some damage in the pocket, but I think Kevin Holland in this fight is going to fight smart. He's going to stomp the knees. He's going to kind of work his way in, throw the side kicks to the body. And Luque, maybe he grapples more than he does usually, maybe. Because I'll tell you what, if this gets to the grappling, it's going to be really interesting because they're both oddly good with, like, front headlock positions. Like, they both are very good with Darces and Anacondas. Like, Luque has, like, 4 in the UFC, I think. Kevin Holland has, like, I want to say he has 2 or 3 as well. He's got a lot of... They both work really well with Darces and Anacondas and bullshit like that. So the grappling, if it does get there, will be interesting. I think on the feet, Kevin will slightly outdo Vicente, and he does have good power. I think that's something that people forget about now, is the power of Kevin Holland, because he hasn't gotten like a flatline KO in a while, but he does hit hard. So I'll go Kevin Holland, unanimous decision, 29-28 maybe. At the end of the fight, Vicente is able to charge in a bit more, land more than usual. But I think Kevin Holland in rounds 1 and 2 will just slightly outdo Vicente Luque in a fun little scrap to open up the main card. We move to Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix. I'm going to be honest with you. I really want to fucking pick Mario Bautista because I think he has a lot of value at plus 220. But I'm going to go with Patchy Mix. I'm going to pick Patchy Mix. I just think he's going to be a little bit too big for Mario, because that's something Mario usually has over his opponents, is a like sheer size and density over them, because he is a big guy for bantamweight, 5'9". It's just he's going up against a 5'11" guy in Patchy Mix. And Mario he's a guy who succeeds extremely well in pressure cooker situations, being directly in front of somebody, throwing combinations at will, throwing a knee up the middle, clinching, kind of grinding on his opponents. He's going up against a superb grappler in Patchy Mix, who has a resume from PFL and Bellator. Dude, it's fucking good, man. Like, he's one of the only... Like, not the only, but dude, he's beaten some fucking guys in his fucking day. Magomedov twice, Sergio Pettis, Rafael Stotts, Kyoji Horiguchi. You know what I mean? Like, he's beating a lot of fucking really solid guys. 11-2, 9-3, 23-7, 11-1. You know what I mean? 29-4. Kyoji Horiguchi, Magomedov twice. Was Magomedov? Is that the guy that beat Petr Yan? It is. That is the guy that beat Petr Yan. Patchy, he's got crazy finishing ability as well at that. Submissions, 13 of them on his resume in the pro level. That doesn't include, I think he's got fucking 8 in the amateur league. I will say, Patchy's striking is very underwhelming for a guy of his stature. His striking is a bit underwhelming, and I think Mario Bautista, if he wins, will kind of just dominate on the feet. Patchy Mix, kind of hesitant a lot on the feet, kind of throws very minimal, kind of just keeps to his own, kind of waits for an opportunity. And that's where I think Mario Bautista, because he is a pressure cooker, can kind of push people back. But Patchy Mix is such a frame and big body in there that he kind of destabilizes people and kind of presses them back into the cage where he can get his takedowns going. He's very strong, very flexible at that. And Mario has been submitted by another tall, lanky, kind of weird guy in Corey Sandhagen. I'm not comparing Patchy Mix's striking to Corey Sandhagen's at all, but if Corey is able to get an armbar, why can't Patchy Mix? You know what I mean? Why can't Patchy? Mario's on a good run. He's on is he a 7-fight win streak or something like that, I want to say? He's won quite a couple in a row. It is a lot, isn't it? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it is 7 in a row since the Trevin Jones loss. Jay Perrin, who's kind of garbage. Brian Kelleher, who's kind of garbage. Benito Lopez, who's kind of weird. Guido Canetti, this was the guy that beat, I'm pretty sure, Chris Moutinho. Yep, he beat fucking Randy Costa as well, the bastard. Damone Blackshear, that was a weird performance. And again, that's a matchup that I look at because, Damone Blackshear, his striking is better than Patchy Mix's, but we've seen him get exposed on the feet before in Damone Blackshear. Damone was out-grappling Mario very easily when he got a hold of him. When he got a hold of him, he held his back the entirety of the first round, essentially, and a lot of the second. Patchy Mix is a 5-round fighter. He's gone 5 quite a number of times. I think Patchy wins. I think he's going to be able to grind his way through the first 2 rounds. Maybe the third round's a little competitive. Maybe Mario's able to get a lot of his offense going there. Maybe out of round 2. I think Patchy Mix has a good resume for a Bellator fighter at that. But he's also very good when it comes to grappling. I've seen tall, lanky grapplers kind of have their way with Mario in moments. So I'll go Patchy Mix, but I think Mario can really do well on the feet, and that's why I want to pick him, because maybe he's able to stuff the takedown, stop the advancements of Patchy Mix. But I think I think he's really solid. I think people calling him the best bantamweight in the world are kind of crazy. We haven't seen him against UFC talent yet. But he has beaten a lot of good guys in Bellator. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to go with Patchy Mix. We move to the featured fight, Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. I already made a breakdown for this fight a month or 2 back in that Mexico City card. I picked Joe Pyfer. I'm picking him again. Joe Pyfer's too big, too strong, too powerful for Kelvin. Kelvin's just so fat. I can't pick him to beat Joe Pyfer. I know Joe Pyfer got beat technically by fucking Mexican food, but dude, shit happens, right? Literally. I think Kelvin, I'm just not a fan of how he's looked. Like, I get he had a decent performance against Daniel Rodriguez. That's 39-year-old Nina. That's 39-year-old Daniel Rodriguez. And he had to grapple Daniel Rodriguez. On the feet, like, Daniel wasn't hitting hard or anything, but he was going tit for tat with Kelvin a little bit. Joe Pyfer hits like a fucking Mack truck, dude. And he's a good wrestler. Maybe not as good defensively as he is offensively, but this dude can pick up a fucking big body like Abdul Razak Al Hassan and fucking dump him on his back and then get an arm triangle a second later. Joe Pyfer's athletic, he's powerful, he's big, he's not like... My favorite thing about him is that he's not like a power puncher. Like, he does throw a lot of his shots with 100% intent to murder, but he's not, like, untechnical. Like, Joe Pyfer will swing for the fences, but with, like, some technique behind it. He's not, like, Ngannou Rosenstrike just fucking throwing from the hip. Like, Joe sets his shit up. Like, if you look at the Omar Amadovsky fight, like, he fucking sets up the left hook. Gerald Mearshart sets up the left hook. Marc-Andre Barrio tags him, stalks him, throws a bit, and then waits, boom, right hand right behind the head. Like... And I know Kelvin's got a fucking skull on him. He does. He's big. He's a big, blockhead, Latina heritage man. But some chins can get cracked. And Kelvin, we've seen him almost get finished by Israel Adesanya. I get it, 5th round. God, no, it should have been a 10-8. It was a 10-8, to be fair. It should have been stopped, like, honestly. I think Joe Pyfer, Kelvin's taken a lot of damage in his career. He hasn't fought in a while. I think Kelvin's last fight was... the D-Rod fight. Joe, to be fair, hasn't fought in a while, too. But I think Joe can either knock him or sub him. I think Joe, if he gets a takedown, like, dude, Kelvin on his back is just a fat whale. He's so... It's uninspiring, honestly, when he's on his back. If Joe wants to take him down, he can. If he wants to strike with him, he can. Kelvin's a little deceivingly quick, but it's like, is he going to be able to get on the inside of Joe Pyfer early on? I don't think so. I think Joe's going to be really dialed in on this fight week, trying to prove people wrong, because a lot of memes got made out of him calling Mexico a shithole or whatever, which is a whole other topic in its own right. But I think Joe Pyfer wins. I think he knocks out or subs Kelvin Gastelum in the 1st or 2nd round. Maybe there's a world where Kelvin Gastelum rallies in the 3rd round and maybe fucking is able to tubby his way through like a win or something. But I think Joe Pyfer, unironically, might dust this guy in like a minute or two. So I'll go Joe Pyfer. We move to the co-main event of the evening. Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison. I'm going to pick Kayla Harrison by submission in one of the first 3 rounds. I'll go round 2. I just don't like Juliana Pena. I think she's dog shit. I honestly think she's a disgrace to MMA being a champion. And I mean that. That's not like something that I'm like saying with like I'm being witty or not. I think she's not good at fighting. You know? You see her striking, to be fair. The striking between Kayla Harrison and Juliana Pena is probably close. Maybe even edge it out. Are you serious? Really? Shh. Sorry. Nina so rudely interrupted me. Maybe you edge it to Juliana. I think there's going to be a very clear physical difference in this matchup. I said it at 307 in the Kayla Harrison-Ketlin Vieira matchup. I said Ketlin Vieira, unironically, is probably the hardest matchup for Kayla Harrison in this bantamweight division just because of her physical attributes. She's one of the biggest girls in the division. She's got good takedown defense. That's all you really need. Juliana Pena. What is Juliana Pena's takedown defense, actually? Let me check this shit out. Hold on, because I got the goddamn... Is it like, really good? Maybe it is. Maybe I'm fucking tripping, but I feel like she gets taken down, like, kind of easily. 23% takedown defense, guys. Going against Kayla Harrison, who is as big as they come, as strong as they come, and is as good, as technical of a grappler as they come in Kayla fucking Harrison. She's gonna fucking ragdoll this bitch in the first 3 rounds. Maybe Juliana gasses her out, maybe Kayla Harrison, because she's gonna have a really rough weight cut, to be fair. Dude, Juliana is so inactive. I feel like for as long as I've been watching the UFC, which my first card was 2016. I've been an avid watcher, like fully watching since like 2020. I was a COVID viewer, by the way. I feel like I've only seen Juliana Pena fight 3 times. And it was the Amanda Nunes duo of fights, and then Raquel Pennington. I really don't even remember a fight prior to that. I think did she fight Germaine Durand-me? I think I'm remembering right. Did she fight, am I tripping? She did fight Germaine Durand. Germaine Durand-me choked her out. Come on, man. Fuck this, dude. She's so garbage. She got a title shot off of beating Sarah McMahon. Juliana Pena is garbage. I'm going to end the segment on that. Fuck it, she's garbage. Kayla Harrison second round submission. Probably going to be like a rear naked choke or an armbar. We move to the main event. Merab Dvalishvili versus Sugar Sean O'Malley 2. I'm going to be picking Merab again. Listen. This very well could be a fight where Sean is able to find the one punch that he needs or the one kick that he needs, or he can win a decision. Because here's the thing, I think people blow that first fight out of the water just because round 2 and 4 happened, where Merab literally just like drowned Sean for like 4 minutes of the round. I still think Merab is just a weird matchup. Like Sean, he's locked in as ever. He's gotten all these surgeries done. He's taken some time off from September to now. And Merab's had, this is his second fight camp since then. He had a grueling one against Umar, I imagine. And now this one. I just think Merab has one of the better attributes when it comes to fighting a guy like Sean O'Malley. His distance management for a primary wrestler is unironically really good, especially against a guy like Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley, Merab's either all the way in or all the way out. There's never really that middle ground where Sean's able to throw the jab, land the jab, and throw the teep kick, and throw these, his best weapons that he has, or feint his way in, and then throw the shovel uppercut, kind of dance around him, and then exit the exchange, throw a right hand afterwards, do Sugar Sean shit. Merab just doesn't allow it most of the time. And I think it's going to be basically as competitive as it was. I think Sean has a chance of winning 2 rounds. Maybe there's another swing round in there. I think Merab is going to win this fight again, just on the moments. He's going to win a round dominantly. And going into the next round, you're going to be like, oh my God, Merab, he's still doing good work. You know what I mean? Like, I think Sean's still going to be hesitant about the takedown threat. You know what I mean? Be kind of frozen a little bit, kind of be a little stagnant on the feet than usual. I think, did he only throw 94 strikes in their first fight? I want to say he only threw 94 strikes. And that's like just overall total. That's not even significant, I'm pretty sure. What are the stats on this? He threw 40, he landed 49, and that's above 50%. I think he threw like 94. Yeah, I think Merab's gonna push even a greater pace in this one. If he's not gonna be able to get Sean down as easy as he was in like round 2 and round 4, for example, I think he's just gonna chain it, dude. Just kind of do what he did against Umar, kind of exit a takedown exchange, kind of throw himself into another one, kind of just like throw big old hooks and kind of just like get the crowd going, whoa, and he's gonna emote, and everyone's gonna be like, oh my fucking God, Merab is fucking, he's demolishing Sugar Sean again. Even though Sean's like, He's landed big shots in the round, but everyone's like, oh my god, fucking Merab held him against the fence for a little bit, so, like, he's gonna give him the round. You know, and Merab, like, I will give Merab this. He does do work. He does work. And that's really all that matters. And Sean, he's just, like, I just still don't believe in the physicality, man. I just don't. The takedown defense, I do. It's the physical, mental, and just, like, the spiritual shit, man. I just don't think he's strong enough. Technique-wise, you can have all the technique in the world you want, unless you're getting attacked, assaulted, essentially, by a fucking rabid dog who's just at your legs and at your waist the entire time, you know what I mean? And you're gonna have to fend off 30 fucking takedown attempts. It fucking sucks. It sucks to deal with. And I think, Sean, if there's a fight he can beat Merab, it's gonna be this one. If he can beat Merab at any point, it's gonna be this fight. He's uber locked in. He had the surgeries done. He's had good time off. It's this fight for Sean to win. That's it, I think. If Merab beats him here, I don't think Sean ever beats him. And it sucks. Because I think Sean O'Malley as champion is very entertaining. I think that as a fighter, he has one of the best fighting styles. Personality-wise, he's not really cool, but fight style, Sean O'Malley fight week, you're like, holy shit, I wonder if he's going to fucking do this. But I think Sean, he feels so limited against Merab Dvalishvili. He is the dependent variable in this fight. He's the Y value. Merab is the X. He's the domain. He's the independent variable. Whatever he does, it causes Sean to do what he does, essentially. Whatever Merab does makes Sean do whatever Merab wants him to do, essentially. I think Merab, he'll edge it out again, either 48-47, 49-46. Sean maybe wins 2 rounds. Maybe there's a third swing round again. I think Merab there'll be a round or maybe 2 again where he kind of just fucking dominates and everyone's like, they remember the whole fight based on those rounds. I'll go Merab Dvalishvili and still Sean O'Malley. Oh no! I'll go Merab Dvalishvili by decision. UFC thoughts. These have been my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC 316. Dvalishvili vs. O'Malley 2 on June 7th, 2025. My confident picks reside with Khaos Williams, Azamat Murzakanov, and in the featured fight, Joe Bodybags Pyfer. My pre-card rating is a 7 out of 10. I think this card's actually pretty solid. I think a lot of people have been shitting on it just because... Actually, I don't know why. Maybe it's because there's been a bunch of pullouts. Or, they're not a fan of the co-main and main event. They're like, O'Malley doesn't deserve a title shot. Who fucking does then? Right? Who else do you want to see fight Dvalishvili at this point? Besides, like, Pantoja, who said he doesn't want to move up at all. Exactly, bitch. I think there's a lot of finishing potential, throughout the card. Maybe not in the main event, but I think we're in for another fun little scrimmage between Dvalishvili and O'Malley. I'm sorry I couldn't get another video out for you guys this week. I've been dealing with a lot of medical shit, getting my knee checked out, of course, due to my injury. But yeah, I'll be out of school, so I won't have to deal with any of that shit, so I'll actually be able to upload more in the following weeks. So yeah, this weekend, of course, 316. I'll do my recap Sunday. Next week, we have UFC Atlanta, Buckley versus Usman. Can't wait for that card. I'll try and get another video out for you guys in the meantime. But yeah, I'll see you guys after the fights. Peace.